This is the auto team for Nightmare Karkanis. I'd say this auto team is kind of inconsistent. This or Queen is the worst one to auto in my opinion. The issue is that sometimes you're just going to get stuck somewhere in the fight. Like if you're not running enough strippers, having Brieg being your only solo strip and then bad RNG on Death Break and any other RNG procs, like if you're using Shu or S2 procs, might just end up with your Brieg's timing on his S1 procs such that the boss pretty much is going to instantly enter stealth right afterwards. So that can get annoying. And then sometimes in phase 3, with phase 3 just being a giant DPS check, sometimes you kind of just don't do enough DPS and you die. Like maybe you get debuffed, maybe, and then you miss so that Brieg gets death broken and then killed, or you just get stunned because the boss stuns you in phase 3 or something. But this is the team that I'm currently using, and it's going okay. I think phase 2, because with a second stripper, phase 2 is pretty free. Phase 3 is where it gets annoying sometimes. Arky, if you want to just spam Arky in phase 3, would make phase 3 go by much more consistently. But we can take a look at everyone's stats and discuss potential replacements. So first up is Montmorency, 200 FRES, Magaraha's Tome, and then some speed, HP, and defense. I should actually probably upgrade her gear a little bit, because with her being our solo healer, she does take quite a bit of damage sometimes in phase 3. But besides that, it's just the usual Montmorency build. Next up is Brieg. So for Brieg, this is also just the normal Brieg build. Usually you want 85 crit chance, 35 effectiveness, and then HP, speed, and defense. I have a crit chance artifact, which is why I'm at 70. Yes, this boss is fire, so you can go down to 70 even without a crit chance artifact, but since he does so many things and so much different content, you usually want to be 85 crit chance. And then Fenne. So Fenne, there's quite a bit to talk about here. First up, you want Daydream Joker. It's going to be the best DPS artifact. And then for her stats, the thing is, she gets sealed in this fight, so no crit chance and no revive. This means that if you want to have crit chance consistency, after you hit RC21, let's say, and you can re-gear her, if you're not using her for PvP, I'd say you probably want to overcap her crit chance, because in PvE she already does so much damage that missing 15 crit chance worth of stats isn't going to kill you anywhere. So you don't want, like in this menu, to be overcapped by 15. So that way she should be able to have 100% crit chance in the fight. And then aside from that, since her revive is blocked, I think the bulky build is kind of better. Just because that way she's not going to randomly die in phase 3 or anything. But this is just my Rift Fenne with Daydream Joker as her artifact. And then there is Eda. So Eda, I have her on a bulky build pretty much, because all I'm using her for is the strip, and then 200 FRES is here so she doesn't really get debuffed. And the rest of her stats are just into bulk so she doesn't randomly die. And I'm using Eda Scepter to help her cycle, because her S2 has an AoE 2 debuff strip, or 2 buff strip, and also pushes back the enemies. So with Eda Scepter proccing at least once in 3 turns, she would use that skill every 3 turns, giving us pretty consistent strip. The rest of her skills aren't bad either. Her S3 is an AoE stun, so you can stun the ads, and it also CR pushes your entire team, with S1 having a chance to death break the boss. So now let's talk about replacements. AMomo and Brieg are both free, so there's not really any need to replace them. Shu over Fenne is what people used to do before Fenne came out, so either one works there. And then for Eda, there's been... So I've seen Elena was what people used to do. It was like AMomo, Elena, Brieg, Shu. And like I got stuck before using Elena with Brieg as my solo stripper in phase 2, so I stopped using Elena and I haven't autoed this boss until now. I've been thinking of Eda for a while, I just haven't bothered trying it. So Elena apparently does work, I just haven't gotten it to work, so I never used it. And then aside from Eda, people have used Ran before. My problem with Ran is that if you're using a PvP Ran, he's going to be squishy, so he's going to die very quickly if he ever gets touched, even with his skill null. And then he also has no F, so you're using S3 for raw damage, which can work fine. Maybe like Ran S3 plus Shu S3 could just break the barrier by itself and the stealth. But I'm not too big of a fan of Ran, just because it's going to be a bit inconsistent. And then there's also, so besides Eda, I was thinking about F10A, but her redirected provoke is just going to make everybody hit Brieg, and he's going to get spam debuffed, which is probably not fantastic. The actual broken unit is Roman. Roman's got a 4-turn AoE strip on his S3 that also inflicts restrict, so you can restrict the ads and they won't get pushed up by the boss when it uses S1. It being 4-turn, you can use Eda Scepter, so it'll be same cooldown as Eda, 3-turn strip. And then his S2 pushes everybody back, and S1 pushes him up. But it's Roman, there's not really any point in building him. So it's worth discussing some alternatives just because this Eda build is a little bit weird. She's not really used anymore, which is why I switched all her gear to the FF Res build. But you can see what units you have that can work in this last slot. That is it for the stats and everything though. We can take a look at the run.
진심을 다해야 이겠지. 주제 모르는 자의 저만의 가슴을
갑니다. 얍! 사랑해요. 함께해요. 영원히. 고통을 허락하소서. 갈게. 하나만 믿을게요. 참아야 해. 네, 많이 아팠죠?
어리석은 탐욕을 위해 해풀 차비는
안아줘요. 숨이 가빠질 만큼. 이제 그만 끝내고 싶어. 이제 괜찮을 거예요.
때가 되었다.
느껴져요. 할 사랑해. 갑니다. 얍! 미안합니다.
무의미한 타락을 거듭할수록 네 가치는 사라질 뿐이다.
많이 아팠죠? 얍! 단단히 휘감아드릴게요.
주제 모르는 자의 저만의 가슴을
아플 거예요. 한번 믿을게요.
정령왕실 힘을
이제 괜찮을 거예요. 죽음의 숨결을 담은 냉기여 이곳에 내리거라.
어리석은 탐욕을 위해 해풀 차비는
사랑해요. 함께해요. 영원히. 저도 조금쯤은 도움이 되고 싶어요. 많이 아팠죠? 괴로워.
주제 모르는 자의 저만의 가슴을
갈게. 단단히 휘감아드릴게요. 갑니다. 얍! 이제 그만 끝내고 싶어. 이제 괜찮을 거예요. 아파요. 아파요.
때가 되었다.
얍! 안아줘요. 숨이 급해질 만큼. 고통은 허락하소서. 당신의 아픔을 제가 덜어드릴게요. 많이 아팠죠?
무의미한 가락을 거듭할 수 네 가치는 삼킬 뿐이다.
And that is it for the auto team. You can see my Fenne was whipping her crits at the end there because I didn't re-gear her to give her extra crit chance or anything. Like I said, this is my least favorite team to auto, or second least, so I pretty much always just manual this boss because it's way more consistent. Sometimes phase 3 just gets dicey. I've had Fenne get like perma CC'd or debuffed and then she just can't ever actually hit the boss, or Brieg. That's also why I gave Eda 200 FRES, because I didn't want it happening to a third person, but hopefully this team or the general setup for it works out for anybody trying it out.